Assalamualaikum all of you. I hope you are all safe, healthy, and fine, and taking good care of your health. Okay, we are finished with our. Now we are starting the revision of the first chapter, that is the microorganisms. I will quickly give you the overview. So, what are the microorganisms? The microorganisms are the small microscopic organism which may be of single cell or the multicellular organisms, and it was done by the discovery of the Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, who discovered his own microscope, and he found bacteria in the between the teeth and many other microorganisms that live in the pond water. They are so small. The microorganisms usually are so small that we cannot see with the naked eye. We usually use a microscope. So there are different types of microorganisms: bacteria, algae, fungi, protozoa, and the viruses. Viruses are so small to be seen by the naked eye, they can't multiply on their own. But once they invade a host cell, or when they enter any human body or a plant, say animal cell, they take over its machinery in order to able to make more virus particles. It consists of genetic materials, that is DNA and RNA. DNA stands for deoxy, D for deoxyribonucleic acid, or RNA is ribonucleic acid, and it is surrounded by the protective coat of protein. Then as bacteria, they are usually unicellular. They are found in air, water, and soil. And there are three types of shape. One is the rod shape, is known as bacilli, spherical, cocci, and spiral is spiral. Okay, the importance of microorganism in food production. It can be used as a food source. We can use in the yogurt, we can use in the cheese, and knows the advantages of using microorganisms as the food source. There are many advantages of the microorganisms. One is that yes, we can use in added to the milk to make yogurt. Yeast are used to make bread, rice, and different types of molds to make different types of cheese to give them the distinct flavors and the taste. The difference between bacteria and viruses. The bacteria are considered as living organisms. They are unicellular, one cell. The larger 1,000 nanometer. In the later, it means the little sticks, usually treated by the antibiotics. Whereas viruses, they are not considered as living. There are no cells. They are smaller, and in Latin means poison. An antiviral will not affect the disease. We can only take the antiviral medicines. Then they are the examples of the bacterial diseases. Lyme disease, it's a rash at the site of tick bite. It may cause fever, fatigue, and headache. Tetanus, lockjaw, stiffness in neck and abdomen, difficulty in swallowing, elevated blood pressure, and sprain muscle spasms. Tuberculosis also causes the fatigue, weight loss, fever, night sweats, chills, and appetite loss. Then there's the bacterial meningitis. It causes high fever, headache, nausea, and fatigue. Strep throat, we all know with the strep throat, fever, sore throat, headache, fatigue, and nausea. Then the examples of the prevention. How we are going to prevent the disease? In addition for controlling the bacteria, they are usually prevented by using the vaccination. Now, what is a vaccination? The doctor injects a dead germ of the disease into our body, and our white blood cells that defend against that dead germs. Once if we are infected against once in our life, after 2 3 years, what happens? Our white blood cells remind of themselves that this disease was introduced in our body at this time, so they are now very strong and they will fight against that germ. So a vaccine is a preparation of weakened or killed pathogens or inactivated toxin, and this preparation helps the body to produce immunity to specific disease. It can prevent Vaccination can prevent diseases caused by bacteria and viruses. So the weakened germs that we have introduced in our body will train our body to fight against the real germ when they will invade. Okay, communicable diseases. They are the diseases that are spread from one person to another. Diseases that are catching, diseases that are caused by germs or the pathogens. Examples are the viruses, bacteria, parasitic worms, and the fungi. Okay, these are the viral diseases in the humans. Common cold, we all are familiar with the common cold: sneezing, sore throat, fever, headache, and muscle aches. Influenza, fever, sore throat, headache, dry cough, fatigue. AIDS, they are the helper T cells which are needed for the normal immune system. In the AIDS, what happens? The normal immune body system becomes destroyed. Chicken pox, we all are familiar. We have taken the vaccination, or we have against these disease. Skin rash, blister like hepatitis B, jaundice, fatigue, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, joint pain. West Nile is also called fever, headache, and body. Okay, the germ theory of the disease. Okay, the germ theory was developed by Louis Pasteur that many diseases or many germs can be killed by heating. Let's suppose he performed an experiment by heating the milk at 100 degrees C, and what happened? The liquid food milk is heated to kill the microorganisms. So the people have created many explanations of the disease. Germ theory led the understanding that many diseases are caused by microorganisms, viruses, and bacteria. Experiments by Pasteur and Coates led an understanding of the presence of microorganisms and their relationship to the diseases. Now, many of the microorganisms are used to make the bread making process. So, what happens when the bread is made? Water is added to the dough, and what happens? We put aside the dough for some times, and then it is processed in the factory. Means of telling this is that many microorganisms are very useful, and some are the harmful ones. And there are some ways to prevent the food poisoning. We should check the expiry date before using any food, or we should heat the or cook the food at high temperature, and we should preserve the food at below 4 degrees C. And now the last topic is, what does decay mean? So what is a decay? When a living animal or a plant dies, such as waste material, human, it may be the human waste, plant waste, animal waste, they are broken down by smaller organisms, by microorganisms in the soil, and in this way the fertility of the soil will increase. How? They are going to add the nutrients in the soil. Which microorganisms carry out the decay? They are the detritus feeders, such as maggots and worms, and the decomposers are bacteria and fungi. So this was a quick revision of this chapter, microorganism, and this is a worksheet we are going to solve after revising this chapter. Thank you all. If you have any confusion regarding this, you can ask me on our WhatsApp number. Thank you.